One more thing I'd like to do for everyone. I don't know if any of I'm going to go off script already. Sorry, Andrea. But last night there was a terrible accident on Railroad Canyon, and two of our members were involved in that accident. One of them is a very active member of our ACC, and I'd like to begin with a prayer, if you would indulge me. So great and glorious Creator, we thank you for this beautiful place where we live that you placed. We thank you for all the abundance that you've given us. We thank you for all the people who make this such a wonderful place, the hardworking people who work here, our friends, our neighbors, and so forth. Lord, we ask you that you watch over all of our friends, family, and neighbors here in Canyon Lake. And in particular, we hope you will look over and watch over Alexis and Stephen, bring them healing, bring them comfort, and bring them home to us soon. We ask this in your name. Amen. Andre, can we verify quorum?
Director Doherty?
Here.
Director Cooney?
Here.
Director Medved?
Here.
Director Bill?
Here.
President Van Vliet?
Here.
Hearing 5, quorum met.
Thank you. Okay. Is public official comments. Darcy, would you like to join us?
Thank you, President Van Vliet, board members, residents, friends, neighbors. This year is our 75th anniversary. So if you've seen some social media posts, and we'll be having an event in September. Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District has been around for 75 years, and we've had about 12 consolidations over that time period, including the one that added Canyon Lake to our service area. So we have a lot to celebrate. So you might be seeing some things in the mail or on social media, and we've been doing a number of events for the community. So for those that have participated in the past, thank you. And for those that will come to the future events, thank you again. Also, it's great news to hear about the recent non-detect in the golden algae for sampling. I'd like to remind people that golden algae is like shingles. It's dormant until it's not. So we need to be really diligent and pay attention. But I think the best outcome of this is that the POA, the city, the water district, and LEJRA really worked well together and have a response plan, at least short term. And I know they're working on a long-term plan. So that, I think, if I had to look at any of the great outcome, because there were some really difficult moments too, is that we have a plan, and we know what we're going to do, and we know what we're going to work on past the immediate. So short term, midterm, and long term. So, and then also, I know I've gotten a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages about the Muslim cemetery. So I'm just going to say a few things about that. I was made aware of that cemetery back in February. Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District has already provided comments. It doesn't appear that our comments were incorporated in their environmental assessment. So we will be providing more comments. Just so you know, that type of burial is or has been known to contaminate groundwater. And we do have a very robust groundwater basin here, but it's also known to contaminate surface water. And this is a drinking water reservoir. If I say that till I die, this is a drinking water reservoir, and it can have an influence because surface water can be influenced under groundwater as well as other type of runoff. So we have grave concerns, no pun intended there, about what's going in there, how it's going to be managed, and any mitigation that we've seen has so far it's been deficient. So we have been aware, we have been engaged, and that is not a done deal. It's still going through the process. I've heard a lot of people saying it's over. It's not. It's going through the process. I would also encourage you to call your county supervisor. That's Karen Spiegel, and let her know how you feel about this. The county ultimately will have to make a determination. So if we're quiet about it and we don't say anything, that's the role that residents in Canyon Lake can make. So also the Mayor Mark Terry, and I will be having coffee at 7:30 tomorrow morning at the Country Club. Everybody's welcome. We end promptly at 8:30 because I have a board workshop that starts promptly at 9 o'clock. So we're happy to take any questions.
Darcy, I want to thank you, and please pass our thanks on to Greg and the whole team. What we've been through for the last 3 or 4 months with the golden algae, again, it's a real success story, and how all the agencies and individuals came together, brought the best minds that we had. And while we have currently have a situation where for the time being, it is very possible and likely it may return, but we have a very good action plan
Yes.
to implement when that does. And so I want to thank you and the Water District for again, your partnership and helping with that.
And thank all of you as well. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to back up one step, and let's, is there anyone who'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 1st meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Ken, Zach, if you guys want to come up and talk to us about community patrol, please.
Good evening. This month, I'd like to go ahead and take an opportunity to talk about what's going to happen next week. As many of us probably forgot about, school's going to come back into session next week. Everybody's going back. And I want to take a moment to go ahead and remind everybody that there will be school buses operating early in the morning when we're usually going to work, when we're running a few minutes behind because the alarm forgot to go off. And we need to take that opportunity to remember that there are a lot of children that are going to be running around in the street. Take a time to slow down, pay attention to the buses, wait for that stop sign to come out. It's okay to wait that few extra minutes because it's going to save you a lot of time in case you accidentally do hit somebody. Patrol officers will be following those buses to make sure that we are doing everything we can to go ahead and try to maintain and control that area, as well as trying to set up in areas to do speed enforcement as well for that. Please take the opportunity to remember that these children are going back to school next week. It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday are the days that the schools really are going back into effect. In regards to the golf carts that we've seen driving the community recently, we've seen a lot of people driving that have been underage. They need to have a driver's license to be able to drive a golf cart. It's not just a car. It's every motor vehicle in this community. You need to have a license for it. Patrol officers have been stopping these vehicles, contacting parents, and having them come pick up the golf cart as well as receiving a citation. I also want to talk about courtesy calls from our dispatchers. There are a lot of times the dispatcher is reaching out to you guys now. Please make sure that your phone number is updated and go access because we're trying to reach out to you, let you know what's going on with your property and some of your guests or people in the community. There will be times where if your guest is being denied at the gate, we want to contact you and let you know why we're doing this. We don't want your guests just to call you up and be angry. We want you to understand why we're doing what we're doing. Anytime you guys have any questions or when you see something in the community, we do ask you guys reach out to our dispatch. Go ahead and make that report to us. Well, I would love to say I have eyes everywhere, but I don't. I need you guys to go ahead and let us know what's going on sometimes, whether it's a phone call or just simply an email where you're taking your own photos and videos. All that is extremely helpful in us doing our job every day.
Anybody have questions for Zach?
Any questions for Zach? I have one. Besides golden algae, the number 2 most popular comment I get, or love notes, I guess I should say, I get is on e-bikes. And I commend you guys for the work that's been done there. You had more than triple the amount of citations. I appreciate, because we have rules, and if we don't have enforcement with the rules, they don't mean a lot. And so I appreciate you taking the time and the effort and the emphasis because it has been a major impact to our community. So thank you, Zach.
Wrap it up.
I received a talking to last month from James that I'm off camera if I sit over there. So he's told me to switch with Zach when we're done. Thanks for hanging around for the moral support. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another month here at Canyon Lake. You having a good time? Summer still treating you well? All righty. So Andrea, can I get my? So today's topic is, what do kids do when they get together on their e-bikes? It's called a ride out, and they plan them, they communicate them on social media, they make it a big secret, and they show up someplace, and then they ride to another place. In the meantime, they don't follow the rules of the road. They don't use stop signs. They cut people off. They slow way down. In this particular case, back in May, we had an officer following them for most of the ride out. And our cars all have dash cams on them. So we recorded the whole thing. And some other people, as they went by, recorded it and put it on social media. The little collage you see there is a combination of social media, dash cam, and our internal CCTV system. I would like to thank the entire community. You folks know who you are, who have secretly rallied together to surreptitiously give me information to help me identify some people in those photographs. I've received photos, I've received video, I've received public social media postings. So thank you all for that. It helped us create some citations. Now, it wasn't just this one. There was also and I don't want to say their names, but there was a group of kids at the lodge making a YouTube video. And one of the smarter people in the room over here quickly downloaded it before it got pulled off of social media. And we had an officer out there with a body camera recording all of this. So we just let things happen in front of us, and some citations, and the investigation continues on identifying some of those youngsters. After the concert, not this weekend, but a while back, one of our members passed by some kids joyriding on e-bikes. That member took photos and sent them to me. I recognized it as a kid we'd already sent a citation to, so I sent him another one. So hopefully they'll get the point that we're serious. I hope you've seen a bit of a difference in the reduction of the behaviors with the bikes that we don't want, and primarily the Surons and the Talarias, because those are the ones that are the fastest and the most dangerous in the hands of some kids that really don't have a lot of training on those bikes. So that's my update on e-bikes, sir.
Any questions for Ken?
Ken, in the realm of possibility as a POA, we have certain limitations by California state law. What else do you need to help with this issue?
I need, what Zach just said was, more eyes. Continue to see something and say something, and not on social media. That's not where things happen. Things happen in our corporate office. Things happen with the board of directors. Things happen with the community patrol. Because when we have the information, we have a lot of resources that you may or may not know about. And we have collected some of this data so we can go back and search and see we needed one piece of the puzzle, and you may be able to provide that piece of the puzzle. So continue to have membership provide those for us is wonderful.
Ken, thank you. Thanks, Zach. All right, this is the fun part of the meeting, and this month, Lainey has the privilege of announcing our Member of the Month.
Everybody hear me okay? I guess.
Eric, can we cut the air conditioner? I know that's been an issue for people in the back in the past. We want to make sure everyone hears this presentation.
Should I wait? Should I go? Okay. We are fortunate as a community to have so many wonderful residents who care deeply about our little piece of paradise. Each month, we recognize one such individual whose dedication and heart shine especially bright. And this month, that person is Kyler Battleson. Kyler's story is both touching and inspiring. He was raised right here in Canyon Lake, spending his childhood and teen years soaking up all that our community has to offer, from weekends at the lake to summer adventures in our parks and our amenities. Like the saying goes, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. After he lived outside the lake for a very brief time, and after that came back to our community. He was pulled back by his passion for Canyon Lake, and we're so glad he followed his call home. Today, Kyler is one of the hardest working real estate agents in the area and a true ambassador for Canyon Lake. Having grown up in nearly a dozen homes across the lake, it's no surprise he now helps others find theirs. One of his professional goals is to one day sell a home he once lived in to a new resident, a full circle moment that we have no doubt he will achieve. Kyler's commitment extends far beyond his career. He and his wife are now raising their daughter, and I think I can say soon to be 2 daughters, right here in Canyon Lake, surrounded by friends and family. His dedication to the community runs deep, not just through generous donations, but through hands-on involvement that truly makes a difference. From volunteering for the Mermaids Club dunk tank fundraiser, to donating containers and water for Fiesta Day, water and fish nets for the lake cleanup day, support for the National Day of Prayer, Kyler is always ready to step in. He also sponsors our Little League and the JDI dancers' costumes. As Kyler humbly put it, it's easy to throw money at something if you have it, but it's much harder and more meaningful to show up and lend a hand. But perhaps the most special thing about Kyler is the way he shows up, with heart, humility, and a contagious energy. His low ego, radiant smile, and authentic spirit remind us what it means to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Kyler, thank you for your commitment, generosity, and unwavering love for Canyon Lake. We're proud to honor you as this month's Canyon Lake POA Member of the Month.
So great to see. And what a great story. Thank you, Laney, for sharing his background and could not be better deserved. I know one of the things we participated in the garage sale, the community garage sale, and one about 9 o'clock in the morning, he comes rolling up with a truck. Everyone who registered for the garage sale, he brought a box of donuts for everyone. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff he does. And just a great individual. And we're very pleased to have Kyler and others like him in this community. So also this month, we have our quilters, the Canyon Lake Quilters, have a presentation, and they've asked me to read it for them. But today they are honoring Art Femister for his service in the Coast Guard. Let me give you a little background first. Art grew up in Freeport, New York, on Long Island. At the age of 17, with a signed waiver in hand from his parents allowing him to join the Coast Guard before age 18, he headed off to boot camp at Camp May, New Jersey in November 1974, and he turned 18 at boot camp. After boot camp, Art was transferred to Petaluma, California for 6 months of radioman training where the Coast Guard's school was located. Art will tell you he really wasn't sure what a radio man did, but he did know California was the place to be in the 70s. For hot rod car lovers and cold weather haters. So off he went, and he bought a beautiful red 1967 GTO upon arrival. Art quickly learned it was the second hardest school in the Coast Guard. To graduate, you had to learn how to type 35 words a minute, send and receive Morse code at 18 words a minute, learn radio voice communications protocols, secure radio teletype operations via crypto gear requiring a top secret security clearance, and learn basic electronics such as how a super heterodyne transmitter works and more. And I know how to say that word. Considering Art left high school early in the 11th grade, this would be a challenge, but he graduated in the top 10% of his class. After Radio Man School, Art was promoted to the rank of E4 Petty Officer, 3rd class, and later promoted to the rank of E5, 2nd class Petty Officer, and was transferred to his first assignment, the Coast Guard cutter Venturis. It was a 210-foot search and rescue vehicle, or vessel, stationed at Base Terminal Island in San Pedro, next to Long Beach. During the next 2 years aboard the Venturous, Art and his crew did a variety of tasks such as search and rescue missions for vessels off the coast or lost at sea without knowing exact location because GPS didn't exist back then. Other missions involved 1 and 2 month-long patrols off the coast of Oregon, Washington, and Alaska to enforce the then 12-mile exclusive U.S. fishing zone, preventing foreign fishing trawlers from fishing in that zone, thus protecting American waters and the right of our American fishing fleets from poachers. The American fishermen called him their saviors. Additional missions were the Mule Pats, which is a multi-unit law enforcement patrol, where the cutter Venturous had U.S. Customs and DEA agents on board to search for boats smuggling drugs, using the onboard Huey, is it Huey 52A? UH 52A helicopter to search further away than any vessels in the U.S. water. Art would send by radio teletype suspected vessel data to the EPIC, the DEA's El Paso Intelligence Center, to see if it was a known smuggler ship. If so, the crew of the Venturous would locate, board, and search the vessel for any drugs, along with Customs and DEA agents. The most significant event aboard the Venturous for Art was the night of December 17th, 1976. While returning from a 1-week local patrol, the Venturous just passed the breakwaters of Long Beach Harbor, heading towards the base to dock, but they never made it that night. At 7:33 p.m., Art saw the entire sky light up over the ocean, and the 210-foot cutter Venturous, carrying 66 crew members, rolled from side to side. Dead ahead of them, about a half a mile away, the 810-foot long SS San Siena, a Liberian oil tanker, was taking on fuel when a massive explosion occurred. The blast shattered windows for miles around and blew a 200-foot midsection of the ship on the dock and triggered a fire that spread across the dock and around the tanker, spilling untold gallons of gas and oil into the harbor. People from as far away as Anaheim reported seeing a massive fireball in the air and felt the explosion. Some thought it was a terrorist attack or worse. The captain of the Venturous sounded the general quarters alarm for each crew member had a predefined task to perform. Art's job was to staff the radio room and handle all the incoming and outgoing communications, as the Venturous was now the on-scene commander. And for the next 48 hours, none of the Venturous crew members slept. It was an all-out effort to coordinate the incoming Coast Guard cutters, fire department, and harbor patrol vessels to search for survivors, recover the dead, and secure the massive oil spill. At the end of it all, there were 8 crew members of the San Siena killed and 46 injured, 9 requiring hospitalization. It was later determined at a U.S. Coast Guard Board of Inquiry that the blast was caused by a ball of static electricity that jumped from dock to ship. After that, at age 20, Art was promoted to E5, 2nd class Petty Officer, and transferred to the Coast Guard Long Beach 11th District Rescue Coordination Center, where he worked as a shift supervisor overseeing all communications for the RCC district offices and ships. Shortly before being honorably discharged in November 78 while working a night shift, Art was alerted to an incoming flash message, the most urgent of all. He read with utter shock that 4 crew members of the cutter Venturous, where he was just transferred from, lost 4 crew members overboard off the coast of Oregon in rough seas during a storm. 2 were rescued, 2 were lost at sea, and one of them was the radio man that replaced him just a year earlier. The official motto of the U.S. Coast Guard is Semper Paratus. Translated, it means always ready. The unofficial creed is you must always respond when others are in peril, but you may not always return. That night, 2 fellow Coast Guard men did not return. After his service, Art continued to serve his community for 25 years by volunteering with the Los Angeles Police Department, Riverside, and San Bernardino Sheriff's Offices. And tonight, our quilters would like to honor him with a quilt. I had it all in my head, but I wanted to get down paper just in case I forgot anything.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
We'll look at.
Yes. You can join us.
While I'm up there, I might as well pass on real fast. And the Coast Guard, if you want to volunteer service. Oh, okay. While I'm up here, I might as well pass on that the Coast Guard's 235 years anniversary was yesterday. So the Coast Guard has been guarding the coast for 235 years and we haven't lost it yet. So that's a good thing. And also I got to give a shout out to the granddaughters that couldn't make it tonight because it's school night, Lily and Finley. Wish you were here. Thank you. And thank you to the board. I appreciate it. And especially to the quilters. Thank you, ladies, very, very much. We appreciate that.
All right, as far as announcements, we have a couple of announcements tonight. One, Eric, you want to give a brief update on the lake? I know we've been sending out messages and so forth, but given that we have a board meeting and we have some people online or in person that may not have heard all the news, we'd like to tell you what's happened recently and what the plan is going forward. So, Eric, if you could.
You said that right as I took a mouthful of cookie. So yes, I'm very happy to say that, and as you probably all have seen on our social media, that we took 4 samples out of the lake on July 31st, and each one of those samples was analyzed under microscope in the lab, and there were 0 golden algae cells detected in those 4 samples, which is fantastic. And to put that into context, when we first started noticing fish dying, we tested the water and there were golden algae cells per milliliter up about 30,000 cells per milliliter. And then the subsequent tests, we got a count of about 3,000 cells per milliliter. It went up a little bit in the next round of testing to 4,000 cells per milliliter. And our most recent test was 0 cells per milliliter. And so this is kind of what we had hoped would happen. Lake Elsinore had a bloom in, forget what year, 2016, was when the Holy Gym fire happened. And they had a bloom because of influx of nutrients from that fire. The air and water temperature were just perfect. They had a big bloom, and then as it heated up, that bloom went away on its own, and we were kind of hoping that's what would happen here, and that is what happened here. We had a very unseasonably cool June, and then we had a kind of a freak, really large storm that brought in a bunch of nutrients, and all the conditions were just right. There were probably golden algae cysts already living in our lake, just dormant, and conditions were right, and we had a bloom, and we had 28 tons of dead fish that we hauled off. The good news is we heard today from bass fishermen that they're seeing fish, carp spawning, they're seeing bass. The tests show golden algae cells in 0 cells per milliliter in 4 different locations. We also took samples in 2 of those locations and did our normal acute toxicity test, which is basically a tank of our lake water with 24-hour-old fathead minnows in it. And at the beginning, we would put fish in a tank and they all would die in 2 hours. And we have just completed a 96-hour test with this July 31st water and 2 different locations, and 100% of the minnows, last I had heard, had survived like 80 of those 96 hours. The 96 hours is up, and I expect that almost 100%, if not 100% of them lived, which is just a dramatic difference from where we were. So it's unbelievable news. We will probably do another round of testing in a couple weeks. And then once we've proven that this good news has lasted and that we continue to be apparently cleared. Nobody can say that golden algae isn't present in the lake because we only test in 4 locations, but it's a very good indicator. The fish are living. So we'll do another round of testings to confirm that we're still at that status, and then we'll start talking about restocking the lake. So I very happy that Mother Nature did her job. The weather heated up and the golden algae went away on its own. And we're not planning on doing any treatment right now. We learned a lot. And I also want to thank EVMWD and LEJWA and Santa Ana Watershed Authority. All the staff at all these agencies have worked very well with our consultants that we, the POA, hired. And we've had very good conversations about every couple weeks as we've gone through this. Everyone, including the scientists, have learned a lot. And we have a plan in place that if we get a bloom again in cool weather, could be this fall, could be 5 years from now, could be 10 years from now. We know what we're going to do if we get another golden algae bloom, and we'll do it right away. So this is a great learning experience, and thank you, Mother Nature. We have very healthy green algae in our lake, like all lakes, and that's actually good for a lake, and I'm happy about that. So pleased to give you that news.
Thank you, Eric. So last month, the new board, announced our 2025, 2026 board goals, and I read them off. And I just want to remind everyone they are now available on our website. If you would like to see them, they're all written down. In addition to that, we put out the 5-year planning as to what major projects are being planned over the next 5 years, and that's also on the website. And so you can take a look at that if you have any questions or interest on that. With that, do we have any member comments on non-agenda items?
No member comments tonight, Mr. President.
All right. Well, with that, let's get into the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A and B in the consent agenda, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
Great. Okay, well, I guess the next one is me, so I better move up. Many of you have may be aware, if you haven't heard in the news, it is there is a new state law that passed on July 1st. Thank you. Yes. It was Assembly Bill 130. I think it was Senate Bill 681. Did I get it right? Oh, phew. And what it does is they limit the fees, the fines associated with HOA associations. And what it does is it caps all fines at $100 unless they're related to health and safety matters associated with the association. As a result, what we have done is we have asked our staff and our legal counsel to get together over the course of the last month, review every one of our 180 pages of rules and review them to see if we are compliant or what changes we need to make to our rules. So what is up today is we have a 28-day reading. We've gone through that package with all the rules, and they are included in the package. And the changes are reflected in this package. And it's a 28-day reading. It's an opportunity for all members to provide feedback over the next 28 days. And in the next board meeting on September 2nd, we will vote to approve the meeting. So I would like to make a motion to present this 28-day reading. Is there a second?
Second motion.
This is an opportunity for member discussion. Any questions, comments that anyone would like to make from the audience on this matter? Okay, with no comments from the audience, any questions or comments from the board?
I would just say that this is evolving legislation. It's come out, but nothing's been tested. We've gone through, as committees have done, as the board has done, as our legal partners have done, and we've taken the best step at balancing absolute compliance with the law while still maintaining the integrity of our rules and regulations. And it's a little bit of a balancing act, and some of this is going to be tried and we're going to have to learn as we go through. But I think the strategic effort has been focused on making sure we have enough teeth so we can get compliance into the rules that, keep our property values and our safety here in Canyon Lake at paramount importance. So I encourage everybody, read them, take a look at it, raise, anything over the next little bit to us. But it certainly has been, I don't know if I want to say a work of love, but it's been a work of lots of debates, discussions, pull it apart, put it back together, and seeing where we all come out. So with that, we are moving forward as quickly as possible to, like I said, both maintain compliance with this new law, as well as maintain our property values and our security. Like a lot of legislation that comes out, it sounds great when it's written, but there's not that forward motion down the road, like, okay, but what happens when the rubber hits the road? Like, how does this actually apply? And we have taken, I think, a appropriate level of prudence with regards to safety, and where we can enforce higher fines based on safety to, the greater good, if you will. And we feel very strongly, based on our current distinctions, that we'll be able to uphold those should they get challenged.
Thank you, Lee. Agree completely with that. Okay, so given that, again, this is a 28-day reading. We encourage our members to look at this. If you have questions, concerns, comments, always, the feedback is welcome before we make our final decision. So given that, all in favor of approving the 28-day reading, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
All right, Mary, please come on up.
Good evening, everybody. I have a 28-day reading to revise GR 3.8 regarding the lease verbiage in our rules and regulations. Canyon Lake's POA legal counsel identified a need to update the language pertaining to lease agreements. Based on their recommendation, the following sentence will be added to GR 3.8, reading, "No separate interest or portion therefore may be leased for a period of less than 30 days or more than 1 year per access or tenant access form." In line with this update, the Canyon Lake POA will revise the name from the lease authorization to a tenant access form, consistent with legal counsel's guidance. The corresponding references throughout the rules and regulations document will be updated to reflect this change. It is recommended that the board approve 28-day reading to update GR 3.8 leases as attached.
Is there a motion to approve the 28-day reading?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Okay, we have first, second. Any member comments or questions? Okay, any board member comments or questions?
Nope.
I have a couple. What's the purpose and focus of this? Is this addressing ADUs? Is this addressing if you have a house where you're renting a room? I'm just kind of curious what we're getting after here.
Sure. What this is really addressing is Airbnbs, less than 30 days, rentals that people are abusing at this time.
Thank you. That makes us consistent with the city as well. Excellent, great. All in favor of approving the 28-day reading, say aye.
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 Are there,
Hearing five in favor, motion carries.
wait, Mary, next.
I have another 28-day reading for GR 6.4, the permanent guest list. In 2023, Board of Directors voted to transition from permanent guest list to an annual guest list policy. This change has since been implemented, and as a result, the previous rule is now obsolete and should be removed from the rules and regulations document.
Do we have a motion to approve this reading?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Member comments or questions? Board comments or questions? No? All in favor of approving this 28-day reading, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carries.
All right, Mary, you're on a roll. Keep going.
And lastly, I have a 28-day reading for LM 4.1 and LM 4.2 temporary boat launch pass. Historically, boating launch passes were issued by member services on behalf of Marine Patrol, which often led to communication gaps between the two departments. To improve efficiency and streamline the process, Marine Patrol has now assumed responsibility for issuing launch passes directly. This change allows for safety inspections to be conducted at the time the pass is issued, ensuring better compliance and customer service.
Thank you, Mary. Is there a motion to approve this reading?
Motion.
Second.
All right. Member comments or questions? Board comments or questions?
So Mary, I've had a few people reach out to me and they ask, what is a launch pass? So could you elaborate on that for everybody?
Yes, I'm very glad you asked because nobody actually knows really what this is. And the Rules Committee also asked the same question. So what a launch pass is, when you buy a brand new boat, this pass allows you to take your boat from, if you don't have a trailer, to drop it in the lake and take it from that point to your dock. That is it, because you don't have a POA decal yet. And then from there, it's 48 hours that you have to get into our office and member services and then bring us your state registration and your insurance policy, along with the safety inspection that you obtained with them. And then we'll give you the registered stickers for the boat.
Thank you for the clarification.
It also saves on all those trailers that take up all that space that you don't really use, but like once a year.
Yes.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense to me. All in favor of approving this 28-day reading, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carries.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's see. Andrea, you're next up.
Okay, so in regards to the identification policy that the board resolution, they wanted to increase the safety concerns during major holidays, particularly Memorial, Fiesta Day, the 4th of July, and Labor Day. The Board of Directors adopted the emergency resolution that temporarily required all persons entering the community from any entrance or any personal electric vehicle, any other vehicle, passengers are exempt, or by foot to present a valid identification to be listed on the POA members guest list prior to entry. The requirement for proper identification and being listed on a member's guest list introduced in the emergency resolution was a response to the anticipated surge in the guest traffic during major holidays, particularly involving the use of personal electric vehicles with a noticeable rise in non-resident access. Rise in e-bike usage, sorry. However, even after the holiday periods ended, there was a continued increase in non-resident access involving e-bikes. Many of these individuals engaged in unsafe behavior within our common areas, prompting the need for clear protocols to better manage access and promote safety. Establishing a formal requirement that all persons entering the community be listed on a Canyon Lake POA members guest list and possess a valid identification. Helps define who is authorized to be in the community. The standard supports consent, enforcement, reinforces community expectations, and enhances the POA's ability to address unauthorized access in a clear and effective manner. It's recommended that the Board of Directors approve the 28-day read to modify the General Rule 6.2 identification policy.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any member comments? Come on up, Joe. And welcome back.
Yeah, hi, Joe Commission, 3716-124. It's great to be on this side of the table. But I do appreciate everything you guys do and the commitment you have. I do really sincerely understand that. But I just have a question on this, and I don't object to the policy. I think it's a good policy. Is there an age limit? If I call in my niece, for example, and she brings a carload of 5 people with 2 little ones, am I required to list all of them? How is that identified?
No, just this is really addressing people arriving on a vehicle like a e-bike or something like that. It does not include if you come in with a car and have kids in the car that you have to list them. It's not all passengers in the car. It is the driver of whatever the vehicle, whether it's a car, truck, e-bike, or whatever that's coming through. That individual has to be registered. Has to provide an ID. If they are a school child, they generally have a school ID. If they have one of those personal electronic devices, if they are an adult, obviously they have a driver's license. So that's what's intended.
Okay, that makes it clear.
But
Joe, in the
I
first,
missed it there if it says it, or maybe it could be clarified. I don't know. Thank you.
Now, we received that question. A lot of
Well,
people are interpreting it to say it's,
we received that question a couple of times, and understandably so, but as Bill said, it is the driver. So the driver coming in of any vehicle, but not all the passengers in the car.
the first paragraph says passengers exempt. The first paragraph in the action item says passengers exempt.
in the parentheses, also known as bow legs.
In the bow legs, yes.
Any other member questions? Good question. Thank you, Joe. No? Board comments? All right.
Doesn't say it in the rule.
All members wishing to approve, directors wishing to approve this general 28-day reading, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
Susan Dawood, come up.
Good evening. On an annual basis, the Board of Directors is required to acknowledge the receipt of the annual audit. The auditing firm Carlson and Ferris has completed the audit for fiscal year end April 30th, 2025 with no significant findings. Staff recommends the Board of Directors receive and file the annual audit report for fiscal year end April 30, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the audit results?
Motion.
I'll second it. Any member comments or questions about the audit? Any accountants out there want to challenge this? Any board member comments?
I just want to congratulate you on getting through this audit second time, passed flying colors, no issues. It was just you and your team have done an amazing job. And it's people don't realize how much is involved with this and the stress and the work and the attention to detail that is needed in your department to get through this. So I just want to thank you for all that effort that you guys put into it.
All in favor of approving item 8.5, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carried.
Thank you, Susan, and congratulations. Please thank your team for the outstanding work.
Bill said he would buy them all pizzas and stuff.
Sure.
Which bill?
Three. There's three. Take your pick. All right, Cheryl. Come on up. Cheryl's going to steal the show now for a while.
Good evening. I heard that Dave did such a great job last month with the actual reading of that. I thought maybe I'd let him do it again.
No, thank you.
Okay, so we are here tonight. We are going to be asking for approval from the board for 5 separate rules for the same thing. So I'm going to read the first page on the first rule only, and then subsequent rules will say the same except for one additional rule. So for PC 5.13 for swimming pools, swimming pools, spas, and water features and ponds, a rule revision regarding the removal of a registered civil engineer and maintaining the requirement of a licensed land surveyor for all property line verifications. Property line verifications is required for all new structures, pools, utility placements to keep the improvements out of the setbacks per PC 3.1, that no improvement structure is to be allowed in the defined setback area. It is within the ACC's purview to ensure that the setback requirements per PC 3.1 are maintained. So research showed that the shift in California policy restricting land surveying authority to only those civil engineers licensed before January 1st of 1982 was driven by a few key factors. Public protection and specialization, number 1. Number 2, clarifying professional roles. Number 3, regulatory of modernization. So while civil engineers still perform engineering surveying like construction, staking, or topography mapping for design, boundary surveys and legal property descriptions now fall squarely under the PLS domain unless the engineer was grandfathered in, and that was prior to that date. So it is recommended that the board of directors approve not a 28-day reading, but approval for the rule for PC 5.13 as attached.
Thank you, Cheryl. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Any member comments or questions? Board comments or questions? All in favor of approving this item, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carried.
And for our second rule, it's PC 6.4A, topography maps. We are requesting the same as we did as the last one. And so we're asking for the board of directors to approve the rule revision for PC 6.4A for topography maps.
Is there a motion to approve item 8.8?
Motion.
I'll second. Member comments? Board comments? These are all the same. It's changing from licensed engineer to survey. So all in favor of approving item 8.8, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carries.
And again, for PC 9.5 for dock application, we're recommending the board approve the revision for PC 9.5 for dock applications.
How about a motion on this one?
Motion.
Second.
Member comments? Board comments? This is how it's done. This is how you pass things quickly. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carried.
And again, for PC 10.2 for application requirements, we're asking for the board to approve this one as well.
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any member comments? Are there any board comments or questions? All in favor? Say aye.
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 Aye. Any
And-
opposed?
Hearing five in favor, motion carried.
And last but not least, the approval for rule revision for section for waterfront lots. For some reason, I just went blank. Same rule as before. We're asking for the board to approve.
We have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any member comments on waterfront lots? Board comments or questions? All in favor of approving the change to waterfront lots, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carried.
Well done, Cheryl. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ken, those are big shoes to follow.
I am very excited to do this one. Cheryl had a lot, and that was quantity, but this is some quality stuff right here. This is section 10. Of course you are. So honestly, this has been a long time coming, getting this revision. There were two focuses here. One, a focus on service to the membership, and the other one was a service to the lake itself. It's called the Lake and Marina Rules for Boat Inspection, but we're changing that to really reflect what this rule about, and that is to protect the lake. So we want to rename it the Lake and Marina Rules for Aquatic Invasive Species Prevention, which I had to read. I don't have it memorized yet. I'm just saying. The other thing is to allow people who are towing their boats that they just pulled out of the ocean or just pulled off the river, and these boats are not registered with the community, they never go on our lake because they're too big to go on the lake, is to give them an identification sticker on their boat so they don't have to get the red boat tag as soon as they got off a 5-hour drive from wherever. And this will allow them to get waived by the officer when they recognize this, and we won't have to pull a patrol officer from patrol to go and put this on there when it's never going to get taken off until they get back to San Diego. So we just did the 28-day read. So today it is my pleasure to ask the board to approve section 10 revision as attached.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any member comments or questions? Board comments or questions? All in favor of approving the new lake and marina rules for boat inspections, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you very much.
All right, item 8.13. One of the things that we've done as a board is we have taken a look at our social media policy. There's a lot of questions, a lot of comments, and we've and a lot of things have changed in social media over the years. And so the purpose that we did this is we wanted to establish protocols so that the association's social media policy is used to provide truthful, factual, and relevant information to the Canyon Lake community and our affiliates' use of social media. It makes sure it does not that what we do is does not reflect, as affiliates use it, it's not reflect negatively on the association or subjected to liability. Our objective is to promote a respectful online environment that's free from bullying, toxic, or harmful behavior. For affiliates who are POA employees, the policy is meant to supplement our employee handbook. The extent of any inconsistency between the handbook and the policy, this policy will prevail. And so there's really 3 protocols in the policy. One is, and this is, as again, we've been through advised by legal counsel and otherwise, that we're and Davis Sterling rules, that we are applying the following protocols. One, on POA social media it will be one-way communication. We will broadcast it to our members. It'll be one way, and we will not be engaging in commenting and so forth associated with that, and that is allowed by law. When posting by others, but it does not prevent people from taking our information and sharing it on their site, on their personal pages and so forth, and having a comment and dialogue at that point. That's still completely permitted. We're posting by others, in that case, if it's shared, is allowed. Harassment, threats of violence, property damage, discrimination, personal attacks, and sexual content is not consistent with our governing documents that prohibit harassment and our obligations as an employer. So the harassment on our social media is not allowed at all. And any harassment or harassing comments will be removed by the administrators. And so one of the things, if people comment and make threats and so forth, those things will automatically be removed from that. Lastly, we reserve the right to discontinue relationships. So we may discontinue relationships with friends or followers of our site, given a few conditions. If the person who seeks to who we seek to discontinue a relationship with is a community, a POA resident, Canyon Lake resident, we will follow our disciplinary process. And that disciplinary process says that we'll notify them in advance. We will have a disciplinary hearing before any action is taken. Okay, we have to do that. If the person that we seek to discontinue the relationship is not a POA resident, we don't require the disciplinary process. So we have a new social media policy. This will be put into effect once voted upon. And I would like to make the motion that we approve this policy. Is there a second?
Second.
Member comments or questions? Board comments or questions?
Nope.
All in favor of approving the social media policy, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carried.
All right. Also, last month, we announced we're starting 2 new committees. And so here to present the first of those committees is Director Bill Medved on the Lake Management Committee.
So we've been talking about the Lake Management Committee for a couple months, and it really falls into 3 areas. It's all focused around water quality. We've learned a lot. One area is advocacy. I think one of the things that Canyon Lake needs to do is get out there and be more involved in some of the public meetings about water so that we can understand firsthand what discussions are going on and what trade-offs are being considered by different government agencies. The second is water quality. And that's really around, the technology of understanding all the things that Eric just was talking about a few minutes ago. What does XYZ per milliliter mean? What things should we be looking at? What things should we be testing for? I want to reemphasize this, and I've always stated this as an operating principle. Just like any committee, the Lake Management Committee can only make recommendations. It can only suggest things to the board, which includes Eric and the rest of the boards of directors and staff liaison. Actual action would be taken by the board. Just as a side note, we actually can test and monitor, clean up dead fish, right, Eric? But we can't treat. We always have to treat through a government agency. The third area is resident education. I went back and I did research pretty far back, and we've had blooms before. And part of it can be attributed to runoff that we generate ourselves within the community. We've, as we built, I'll talk about this when we close up later, but we want to be able to educate our members about, hey, using pine sol and cleaning your hubcaps that drains right into the lake may not be the best way to go about doing that. So that is the charter that we're putting forward today.
Is there a motion to approve the Lake Management Committee
Motion.
charter?
Second.
Any member comments or questions? No? Board comments, questions? All in favor of approving the charter for the Lake Management Committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
And the second new committee is the Equestrian Work Group, and Director Laney Cooney is going to present that.
The Equestrian Work Group charter was designed because we recognize that horses are a little bit of a unique amenity that we have, if we want to call them that way. And we decided that it would be best to be able to work cooperatively with operations and with the borders and the community to be able to better equip, service, publicize, and generally take the best care of the Equestrian Work Center. And so with that, we developed a charter. The main responsibilities will be to, recommend facility improvements that ensure safety, accessibility, and quality of care, monitor maintenance needs, work cooperatively with operations, collaborate with the staff on planning and supporting equestrian-related events, assist with reviewing and recommending updates to the center, prepare and submit an annual project and recommendation plan, provide written proposals, including conceptual sketches and material cost estimates for review and approval of any major work, perform any tasks as directed by the Board of Directors related to the operations and enhancement of the Equestrian Center, and be the best ambassadors for this amenity to the community, both with present boarders and those that want to more casually enjoy what the Equestrian Center has to offer. So with that, I recommend that the board approves the charter as so written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any member comments or questions about the equestrian work group? Charter? No. Board comments? All in favor of approving the equestrian work group charter, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
Okay, the last item of business on the agenda was the annual committee member appointments. And our objectives is we had a lot of discussions among the board about committees, ways that we can make the committees more effective. We can use them to do more for the community. And our intention was originally to do everything at once. But as we've gone through this, we've realized there's some changes as we discussed it this morning or this afternoon rather. There's a number of changes that have to be made. And so we're going to do part of the job tonight and the other part we're going to table until next monthly meeting in September, because we have some puts and takes that we need to make and finalize that out. Some committees still have some openings and such. And so we want to give it a little more time to fill that out. So with that, we have a motion to approve there are two committees we want to approve and one chair of one of the committees that we want to make a motion to go forward now. So there's a motion to approve the Finance Committee as documented in the charter. There's a motion to approve the Lake Management Committee as written. Actually, let's take them one at a time. So is there a motion to approve the Finance Committee chair and membership?
Motion.
Second.
Any member questions or comments about? Come on forward, Dan.
There we go. Dan Leckwalk Committee, Chair on the FPC. There's a rule that interacts between the FPC and the Finance Committee. There's some membership issues on the FPC side, which could impact the Finance Committee. I'd ask that those be addressed at the same time.
Can you give us a
Specifically,
little more information, Dan? What you mean?
Yes, specifically, there's a rule that doesn't allow you to be on both. And right now you have somebody on both.
Correct. That's one of the changes on the FPC
And
that
I
needs
was
to be
going to
made.
address it to make
Yeah,
sure that it
yeah.
addresses
Thank you. Yes,
both.
and that has been addressed. That's one of there were, like I said, there were some puts and takes that we need to clean things up a little bit, and that's what we're going to come forward with for the FPC.
Before you solidify the.
Before we solidify the FPC and recognize we also have a number of openings on the FPC and we want to get that settled as well. So on that, your committee, we're going to specifically table that for 1 month. But the Finance Committee,
I'm saying it could impact the Finance Committee as well.
I don't believe so. The person who's on both is going to be only on the Finance Committee as proposed.
So Bill, let me take this one. So Dan, we talked to, what Dan is referring to is there was a decision earlier on in the year to have, a rule that said if you're on the Finance Committee, you could not serve on other committees.
Correct.
Okay, and we talked about that at great length. And I think we even mentioned it. We know, at least all the committee chairs know about it. There's a lot of reasons for it, though I will share with you each individual that was both on FPC and FC. This was clearly articulated to them and they were able to make that choice. So this choice was not made for them. They were able to choose to either stay on the FPC or go into the finance committee. So at least from a board perspective, I think we've done everything that's appropriate to give those committee members a choice of which committee they want to serve on.
But as listed, you're showing at least one member on both. And unless that was addressed since then, that's a confusion factor. That's my point. Do you want me to name the individual?
Yeah, that's a typo. That person, we talked to Ed very specifically, and he chose the finance committee. So that's a problem with.
Okay, then he's on the finance committee.
No, he is in the finance committee.
Okay, that was not clear on the note.
You're right. The note is inaccurate. It needs to
Okay.
be updated. And again, this wasn't any kind of coercion. We just.
No, I got it. I was just following the minutes that you guys provided.
100%.
Okay,
But Ed did choose the finance committee.
okay, fair.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. And yeah, that's
you, Dan.
one of the reasons we're bifurcating the process here is because we have a little cleanup to do. So thanks. Any other member comments about the finance committee? Board comments? All in favor of approving the finance committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carries.
All right. Let's move on to the Lake Management Committee. You want to present it?
So we went through a process. This is a brand new committee. We had 2 board members and 2 staff members request applications. We did interviews. We asked standard questions across all the committee applicants. And we individually wrote our own observations about the various candidates. And then we sat down as a group. This was myself, Bill Van Vliet, Eric, and Steve, and had a discussion and voted on these candidates. So I think we've done everything that we're supposed to do, and this is what we'd like to move forward with.
You making a motion?
Motion to approve the Lake Management Committee?
Second.
Second and third. Great. Any member comments, questions? Board comments or questions? All in favor of approving the Lake Management Committee, say aye.
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 Hearing 5 in favor, motion carried.
All right, last one. Again, it's another committee that has a number of openings, but we want to at least recognize there's a change in the chair, and that is the Security Advisory Committee. It is proposed. Well, I'll let the board liaison make the proposal.
We recently put it to a vote. Our term for the current chair was coming up, and so we put it to a vote in the committee. And they selected Saul Lindver. For some reason, they thought he was capable. He seems to be okay. So I'd like to move forward making a motion that we make Saul the official chair.
I'll second it. Any member comments? Questions? Board comments or questions? For those who aren't aware, Saul has an impressive resume when it comes to security. It is a fine candidate, and so I heartily endorse it. And Rich, yeah, we do want to thank Rich Francis for his 3 years of service as a board chair, and he's done a great job on that. So, all in favor of approving the chair of the Security Advisory Committee, say aye.
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 All right.
Hearing 5 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, well, with the remaining committees, like I said before, we've got some openings, we've got some adjustments, we've got a few things to do. I'm going to propose that we table that item until the September board meeting. I'll motion it. That's that motion.
You need a second? Second.
I need a second. All in favor of tabling the remainder of the committees to September, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing 5 in favor, motion tabled.
Thank you. All right, board liaison reports. Greg, we'll start with you.
Okay, Recreation Committee. We are very fortunate to have one opening, but 5, I believe it's 5, at least 5, applicants, which are whom are going to be interviewed next week for that position. So we're flush with candidates. We're hoping that whoever gets on brings some new ideas, and those are always welcome. We are working on one interesting thing, which I won't give you the details, but it has to do with some signage at Happy Camp. So I can't say much more about that because it hasn't been approved yet, but it's an interesting, think of the Hollywood sign, but maybe not really, but something along those lines. But we're working on stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to a new member after interviews next week. Thank you.
Lainey?
So with rules, I will have one opening on the committee. So we're definitely taking applications, statements of interest. Eddie Valdez, who's been on the committee for a number of years, has got an exciting opportunity for him and his family. So he'll be relocating. So while that's sad for us, I know he's been a great stable force on this committee. It's an opportunity for somebody else to apply. So we'll be doing interviews and making sure we have that as a final recommendation by September. On our appeals, I think we have no openings as we stand right now. And I think I heard something about an alternate. I think we heard something about an alternate. We're going to table that for further discussion yes, potentially. I think the board is under discussion of what we're doing with that alternate role as we go forward. But I continue to encourage them to come to the meetings until final decisions are made. And then lastly, the new employee equestrian center work group board membership. So I've got, I think we've got 10 or 12 applications. Greg and I are going to follow the same standardized process that we did on the Lake Committee. I was delayed a couple of days with other commitments, but we're hoping to get those scheduled at least get them out scheduled this week or for later the next week. And we will have that wrapped up with recommendations by September meeting.
Thanks, Lainey. I'm on the Green Committee. Also, for those who are unaware of the golf course, we had 42,000 rounds of golf last year. So we're at an all-time high on that, which is outstanding. And they've been meeting, we've had a number of discussions of the maintenance of the golf course. They've had to increase the watering a little bit as it got a little drier recently. But they're going well. They've had some discussion about golf carts and golf cart usage, the size of some of the golf carts. I know they're evaluating the impact of that as well. And so that's all under discussion. The Tuesday work group has gone dark. They are dark for 3 months in the summer, but they do continue to have monthly sanding parties where you can go out and walk the golf course. So if you're looking for a little bit of exercise, please join up with them, sign up, you get free donuts, and you can burn them off by walking around the golf course and sanding in the divots. They do a great job. They save us a lot of money with all the effort that TWG does. And then the senior working group, I'm also on that committee. The senior work group meets at the senior center. They're going to have 2 sponsored dinners coming up, one in the month. Let's say they do a potluck usually at the end of every month, the last Sunday of every month. In September, it will be a community dinner. And so the first 70 people that sign up will be able to do that. I think it's actually going to be, the theme is going to be Oktoberfest. And then they're going to have another one in October, 2 months back to back. And that one is going to be sponsored by the Mermaids Club. And so we thank them for their support. That's it for me. Jeff?
Okay, well, I'm the liaison for the Security Advisory Committee. And one thing I want to say before we get started on what they're doing is the leadership of that group. I joke around with Saul, but the leadership we've had in that group is we've been very fortunate. Just an awesome bunch of people, well qualified. Between Rich in the past and Saul going forward, this group has volunteered to work with and educate kids with the e-bikes, having an e-bike fair about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, something like that. They get out and do things. And currently they're also working on additional measures for e-bike control and enforcement and how to apply these things. As they keep moving forward, though, we are losing some members because of work commitments or health commitments. So if you think you have what it takes to join the Security Advisory Committee, I would suggest you put in an application because we're going to be making some decisions real soon, probably the next couple of weeks. So this next 2 weeks will be your last chance, excuse me, to see if you have what it takes to get on board with our Security Committee. On the FPC, Facilities Planning Committee, I want to also say that great group. Y'all got to see Dan Lecco, our chairperson, in action when he came up here and straightened us out. Another great group, but we are short some people and we could use some applicants. If you think you have what it takes for that, give us a shout. These guys are moving forward in a lot of areas and they're just doing a great job. So that's really about it on those two.
Okay, so we in the Finance Committee and the Lake Management Committee have no openings. Sorry. But I'll tell you something that was really striking. The quality and caliber of the people in Canyon Lake is phenomenal. And I'm, you know, everybody who knows me knows I'm not a politician. I truly believe that in my heart. For the LMC, we have 2 PhDs. We have a science teacher who's retired, has a bachelor's degree in zoology. And when we asked her what was exciting to her, she says, I used to teach my kids about microbiology and water. It's like, okay. We have someone who has wastewater experience, knowledge of government entities, water entities, and answers to the state water board. We have someone who has government water board experience. And you'll know who this is. This is our friend. Well, I won't say anything. I promise I wouldn't embarrass anyone. And a long-term lake history. This guy knows more about Canyon Lake than anyone else I've talked to. We also have someone who has a bachelor's degree in marine science and a master's in management. So that's who our starting team is on the lake management charter. And I'm just so pleased and so impressed. I'm also very happy on the Finance Committee. One of our new team players is a director of investor relations, one of the smartest people. She's just stunningly smart. So hopefully you get a chance to meet her. And another person that we brought on has served on a board for a smaller HOA. So I'm very pleased with the team members we've been able to get on those 2 committees. Thank you.
All right, Eric, why don't you give your...
Thank you all for coming and still being here. As usual, I like to direct people to our staff reports, which start on page 100 of the distributed agenda. You'll see committee reports, more detail of committee reports in there, Marine and Community Patrol reports, Operations Department report. And in there, you'll see that we have updated the quite a bit of things at Galt Field, given that a lot of love the last month or so. We've repainted the announcer booth, the concession stand, the trellis area, installed new area lighting. We've also completely upgraded the field LED lighting system and expected to see energy savings there. Musco Lighting will complete a light survey in the next week or two to ensure this system performs exactly as the lighting engineers designed. Little League should be able to use the field and the lighting as early as next week. We also have new scoreboards over there, sponsored by and completely paid for by Clark Pest Control. At the North Ski Pavilion, we had some vandalism there by some e-bikers, and we have repaired that and took that opportunity to paint that whole structure. So that's looking nice and fresh also. And motorcycle parking, that project is underway. Today they were doing some excavating over there. We're installing light poles and footings for lighting and cameras there. Striping and fencing will be next. And you may have noticed there's containers of tennis court surfacing material out in the parking lot. We're currently resurfacing those tennis courts. And that's all I have tonight. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Eric. Any questions for Eric while we have him up? No? All right, let's close with our board comments. And the good news is there's no appeals tonight. So we'll go reverse order. Bill, why don't you lead us off?
Well, I think I said everything I wanted to say about the committees that I'm a liaison to. Again, looking forward to getting started and moving forward with what we've already started in the Finance Committee. Eventually, the Lake Management Committee will be reaching out to fishermen, boaters, skiers, swimmers on the beach to make sure that we stay in tune with what's going on with our water. Because quite often, if there's a problem, yes, the tests work and they help, but the users of the lake probably can see things before we do sometimes.
Well, just a couple of quick reminders. Tomorrow morning, 7:30, Country Club. You're all invited to come meet with the mayor and with Darcy from the Water District, hear what they have to say about what's going on. This is our community. Get involved, come in and listen to what they have to say. The other thing I would like to add is the car club meeting, because, you know, my friends that are gearheads and I like to go to these things. 5:30 Holiday Bay Room is social. 6:30 is the meeting. You don't have to have a hot rod car to join. I mean, if you have a 72 Pinto, we'll let you in. So just as long as it doesn't blow up in the parking lot. No gremlins though. Sorry, Bill. So I'd like to invite you to that. On a serious note, I would like to ask you guys to keep Steve and Alexis in your prayers as they recover. It's been some pretty serious injuries. And with that, I'd like to close with, don't forget to tip your bartender good night.
Thanks. Just a little bit of a tag on to Bill's, you know, before, over the years, I've heard living in the community before being on the board, you know, it's hard to staff committees. People don't want to serve on committees, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the recent activity has shown that that's just not true. Maybe our approach wasn't right for whatever reason, but to see the amount of applicants that for the recent committees, both the lake, the equestrian, and other committees, I think it not only disproves the fact that people don't want to or can't serve on the committees, but in fact that we have just amazingly talented people that are so qualified and are willing to give their time. And I'm really, really excited that we're getting that energized. I hope that the community is also seeing we've worked really hard as a board to standardize our processes. So from how we advertise, how we interview, how we make our selection, and how we apply the rules across the committee, so that you know, the sense of fairness and consistency across all the committees, it hopefully is becoming very, very well established if it was in question before. Two final announcements that we did in earlier meetings, but it's probably good to talk about here because I know it's been kicked down the road a little bit for various reasons, but the board met today and it was approved that the yacht club's request for the Burgess to be displayed in the lodge is approved. The final design and cost has some details to work out. I think Eric has come up with a great counter design proposal. So I think there's more details. The ask is that the yacht club will work with Eric and others and define the exact design, implementation, and cost structure, and come back to the board for the design approval by September, so we can move this on towards completion. Did I caption it? Okay. And then lastly, just because I don't want it to get lost, we've not had a chance to reach out to everybody, obviously, but there is, over the years, the golf cart parade has moved a couple of different times, trying different things. I think some of the feedback that has been received is Sunday nights is hard, but then what do you compete with? And so this year, the board has approved moving the golf cart parade to December 6th, which is a Saturday, but we will work very closely with the Women's Club, who have the home tour earlier in the day, to ensure that all planning and activities make sure that both events go off without a hitch. Greg?
So when I got this job almost 3.5 years ago, I figured, well, this is great. I'm going to face some things that I don't know anything about, and I'm going to have to learn some new stuff. And my background, as many of you know, was commercial insurance. And thankfully, that has been helpful to the community because most of you know we've had some pretty severe insurance increases in the past 3 years, and I was able to help with that. But never did I realize that I was going to be asked to learn about algae and asphalt paving and restaurant management and e-bikes and all this stuff I didn't know anything about. But it's proven to be a very rewarding experience. I will also say that AI has become my new best friend. But here we are, middle of summer, very hot. Hope everybody stays cool. Fall's coming. As Lainey mentioned, we're looking forward to the fall events, or at least I am. Golf cart parade, wonderful event. So I just wish everybody to stay cool. Fall's coming. School starts next week. And all of this makes this a great place to live. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, I've talked a lot tonight, so I'll just keep it fairly quick. While we talked about all our committees, again, I want to thank all committee members that participate. We do appreciate all the work you do. It helps us make better decisions as you give us more information to do it. One of the committees that none of us talked about, because we actually all sit on this committee, is the Architectural Control Committee. And they are the committee that works the hardest of all. I mean, they meet twice a week for long hours, and they review thousands and thousands of requests by members to improve their homes and so forth, and they do it with the intent of, hey, trying to get everyone to achieve their objective, but yet do it within the rules. And so again, I just want to say to everyone, thank you. I think we live in a great place. I really love Canyon Lake, and it's because of the people that do it. It's people that volunteer, the people that work here, and we're very blessed to have that. Want to also just comment, piggyback on Greg's, it's back to school next week. Please drive safely. I want to reinforce that. Our children are one of our most precious resources, and slow down, take a minute, take a breath, and don't follow too closely. And then the next event is Maui Monday or Maui Sunday on Labor Day weekend. So hope to see everyone there. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Sounds like we have two. All in favor, say aye.
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 Hearing 5 in favor, meeting adjourned 7:34.
Thank you, everyone. Good night. Thank you for coming out.